Today, I'm going to review the ISSA Nutrition Certification process and what that certification looks like to become a certified nutrition coach and how the layout really works well for anyone looking to get this certification. So for starters, when you first log in, you'll see all of this information as your main dashboard. So here you can easily get help. You can check out your account. You can also look into more information if you are looking for things like study aids. So there are a lot of useful study aids that come along with this nutrition certification process. But let's start with the course before we get into that. So for your current certification, you'll see guided study. Now, one of the things I really liked about this setup was that you had guided study over the span of 10 weeks on average. That is the recommendation for most people taking this course. However, there is nothing stopping you from taking the course at a much slower or faster pace, depending on what you can do. Now, it's broken up into modules, and as you can see, each module has different topics. When you move through the modules, let's start with, say, Module 6. You'll notice that it has a breakdown of reading materials, as well as video materials and quizzes that correspond to each of these. So some weeks are a little heavier than others. Module 6, for example, has 3 quizzes associated with the 3 chapters of reading. And you'll see here they list all 3 chapters and different video content to go with those chapters. Now, you'll notice that your sections up here include assessments. So as you're moving through the reading material, it might have a pop-up on the bottom around this area that says new content is available. When you go to the assessments area, that's where you'll see the different quizzes. You cannot move on to subsequent chapters until you have completed all associated quizzes. Now, the quizzes give you unlimited attempts. So if you don't pass on the first attempt, you can go back, review the content that might have caused some problems for you, and try to take that quiz again. It's an open book quiz, which makes things really easy. They are definitely here to help encourage success and long-term retention, not just memorization and passing your quizzes very quickly. Now, back at the course home here, you'll see all the different modules. Now, each module covers different information. The first one really helps you get started. It goes over important information that you might need, navigating the course, what the policies are. As you can see, it's laid out here, navigating the course, understanding how the reading works, and the videos. So chapter 1, or guided study for module 1, has some learning objectives that focus on things like how we select food, what impact other people's cultures or religions might have on food, and some other considerations. When you move into the second module, you get a lot of information on animal cells, how our organ systems work, how the digestion process works, and what that has to do with the foundation of healthy eating. Module 3 focuses on a deep dive into the metabolism. And when you start off, you might be able to blow through weeks 1 and 2 all in the same session. But as soon as we get to module 3, that's when you get several chapters of reading per week. And that's when you'll have a lot more of that deep and more intricate information that you have to absorb and retain for the sake of your quizzes, your clients, your certification, all of that. As you move through with module 4, you'll focus more on individual chapters for the 3 macronutrients, the roles that they play, how your body digests them differently, and that includes carbs, proteins, and fats. When we move down to module 5, you'll focus on vitamins and minerals. So that has a lot of interesting reading associated with the respective chapters, as well as informative videos that can help you better understand the role that different vitamins and minerals play. In particular, key details on what deficiencies might look like, when and where common, and how you can encourage athletes, for example, to increase certain vitamins or minerals where appropriate to enhance performance. And this is all founded in scientific studies. So each section that you go to will have information on whether increasing a certain vitamin or mineral could increase performance based on current scientific literature so that you know what recommendations to make for your clients where appropriate. As you move on to Module 6, you'll focus on the role of water and hydration, and that'll explore not just hydration, but how you can encourage behavioral changes in your clients. Module 7 takes a shift a little bit away from understanding the foundation of nutrition and focuses a bit more on the foundation of coaching. So both of these elements are extremely important in being a certified nutrition coach. So at this point, you'll focus on the importance of client assessments and setting goals with your clients so that you can help establish a successful business and encourage your clients to be successful in reaching their goals. And one of the things I really like about this particular chapter is that there are a lot of downloads. You'll see here that not only can you, of course, download the full textbook and read it at your leisure and refer back to it, but you can find downloadable materials that include these health history forms, the exercise history forms, the client intake forms, all of the things that are talked about in much more detail in Module 7. So that gives you access to a lot of information that you might need to help you as you are moving through this material. When you get through Module 7, you'll move on to Module 8, where you focus a bit more on the respective dietary guidelines for Americans. So this module provides very important information on what the legal requirements are for different product labels and what terms like organic or 100% organic might mean, because before taking this certification, you might not realize that there are differences in a lot of these key terms. And yet, there are very specific items that you need to be able to inform your clients about, particularly when they are reading labels and coming to you with questions about things like low sodium alternatives or low fat alternatives or non-fat alternatives, and what those might actually contain in terms of the vitamins and minerals and fat content and carbohydrates and all the things that they might need to know in order to make more informed choices about their diets. So as you move on to Module 9, that covers a lot of deep information about diets. What types of eating patterns are successful? Which types of eating patterns have come and gone throughout the years? And those things that have stayed test of time here, particularly things like the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet, and the science behind why those diets have remained successful and what type of health benefits they afford people. Now, Module 10 covers a lot of the final information you'll need when it comes to understanding how to successfully run your coaching business, what limitations you might have as a coach, where you can build out a network of other professionals who can help you when you need to make referrals. If, for example, you are working with someone who has a specific health condition, you might need to refer them to someone who might be more qualified to handle that condition. There is a lot of information here about setting up your business, marketing your business, making sure that you know not just what your role is, but how you can keep your business successful long-term and bring the help that your clients need right to them. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of downloads that you get, but you also have access to this nutrition bootcamp. So in addition to having office hours, if you have questions or you need extra information, bootcamp is available with 1-hour study sessions to help you with each of these modules as you move through. And you have 5 different presentations that are shared. So one of the nice things about this is because you are, of course, working online, they have pre-recorded boot camps that you can access for all 5 sessions. So every week you'll get an email when the live sessions are going up. But depending on when you start your certification, you might start and need lesson or session 1 because you're in lesson 1. But the current or live versions might be session 5, in which case you can go back and open these one at a time until you have caught up to where you are, or you can just do recorded office hours here if you weren't able to attend for the most recent 5 weeks. So you get a lot of great information here in terms of the modules, the lessons, and as you complete each of these, you'll notice that the dashboard here shows you how far into the completion you are. So this current progress tracker is very handy. It will show you what percentage you have completed for each of these guided study modules, as well as things like course feedback and your final exam. As you move through this, you can see the same thing, and it will show you this progress bar as you move through the reading, as you move through the video content. You might forget for the first few weeks that your quizzes are located under the assessments, in which case this will remind you because it will show that that module isn't complete yet and you can't move on to the next one until you've completed that quiz. You also get to connect with the ISSA community here with a lot of links, podcasts. You can connect anywhere you might have questions. They have a wonderful help center that you can visit through this link. There's also the link up here. So the help center has a lot of information about the course materials, the assessments, how the exams work. So you can download any resources you might need, like the interactive study tools, what requirements you might need before getting started, and access to the textbooks. And when you go back to the main page, as I said, the course home here shows you your progress. It gives you a lot of easy access to the things you've completed and the things that have yet to be completed. The content page has another great layout. So here you can see the modules lined up on the side. And as you move through, you'll just click through your module. It'll show you what each chapter is about and then move you through things like the reading. You can move through the reading within this section, or you can move through the reading using the full textbook that you've purchased online and have in a physical copy, or the full PDF textbook that you have downloaded. You'll move through the videos one at a time in the same fashion. And then you'll go straight to the quiz. As you move through each of these, you'll also earn awards, and these will get shown right over here under the awards tab. It'll also pop up when you visit your course home, indicating that, hey, you have a new award. And you can see things right here. It'll tell you when you have passed certain quizzes, when you've passed your exams, what awards you have won. So you'll have a constant notification of the assessments that you've won, the badges that you've won as you've moved through. You can look at badges in particular. You can look at your certifications. And then, of course, you can share them online. There is a lot of valuable information that goes with this particular course. So if you have other courses, obviously you can select here from this button when you toggle it. When you go to the home page, you'll see any other awards that you have here as well. And there are a lot of resources available. Once you pass your certification, they have a guarantee for certain certifications, like the personal trainer, that you can get alongside your nutrition certification. And these guarantee that you will find a job within 6 months if you have passed your certification requirements and you use their marketing resources to connect to other people. So they have a broad network of other professionals who are looking for certified people just like you. And here you can easily connect with those resources after you pass all of your certifications and respective classes. So there is a lot to offer here, a very easy, clean layout, a lot of resources, a lot of materials. And I love the way that you'll get announcements right here. You'll be able to see all the announcements as they pop up. You can easily access the help center. You can connect with other people. So you have the study aids, you have the videos that support different content that is tangential to what is covered in each of these modules. You have the self-paced reading, very easy user interface, very easy lessons and dashboard views, as well as progress trackers. And they have a lot of key ideas and tips in each of these. And as you continue to pass each of these awards, you'll see that progress tab go up. You'll see access to additional certifications as you move through each of these, and you can get discounts on additional certifications. So once you pass the Nutritionist cert, you might feel very comfortable in how the final exam went, and you can add additional certifications to really bolster your career opportunities. Now, once you finish all of these, you'll have an opportunity to make sure you have downloaded all of the applicable data, and then you'll have an opportunity to take your final exam. Now, the final exam is an open book exam. It is not timed, so there isn't as much pressure. And what I have found to be very appealing about this particular exam is that, unlike the quizzes, which might be derived directly from the reading material, the final exam is not. It is based on a comprehensive understanding of all that material. So you get a lot of real world examples, you get a lot of multiple choice, you get a lot of fill in the blank, all different types of traditional questions spanning several hundred questions in total. And it forces you to really demonstrate your understanding of being a nutrition coach, handling real world examples and other relevant material. More importantly, if you don't pass it, you have 2 times for free to try a second attempt. And after that, you will have to pay if you haven't passed the first 2 times, but the cost of the exam is discounted at this point. So there is a lot of great information to be gained from this process. I really enjoyed the quizzes and assessments and the way everything else worked well to guide you through each of the modules in a very fluid fashion. And of course, they had great graphics to go with it, wonderful video content for people who needed that flexibility of video and auditory content. Anytime a video doesn't play, you can always play the audio alone. So there's a lot of flexibility there. Even if you can't watch a video, for example, you can certainly listen to the same transcript. And that final exam is a really great way to test your knowledge. The